So right now it's the chosen people of God versus the pigs. You don't have to be a police officer to be a pig. And quite honestly, most police officers aren't pigs. But check this out. It's kind of like rectangles and squares. All squares are rectangles, but all rectangles are not squares. So a few pigs, and one of them fucked with me today. So police chief, please ask your pigs to back down and quit. Because you know why the police quit in the other cities? Because the ones that stayed were the pigs. Ah! You know, the nice thing about being ignored, living in poverty and suffering in Washington, D.C., is that it's just not white people that ignore suffering and ignore the dying and suffering people in D.C. It's all the people in D.C., not just white people. Every skin tone, every nationality, every corner of the world ignores suffering people in Washington, D.C., capital of the evil planet, the White House. Watch the movie Casablanca. Casablanca means White House. It's an old Humphrey Bogart movie, black and white. Now picture the Nazis and the Americans and the French and all the leaders meeting at the White House during World War II. Watch the movie Casablanca. Adjectives go after the noun in Spanish. Casablanca, White House. Fuck the United States. Yep, we got people on skateboards not caring, punk rockers, hippies, artists, fat people, skinny people, old people, young people, gay people, people in street clothes, people in suits. They all ignore the poverty and suffering here in Washington, D.C. and walk right past it every day. And these are the people that put every single family in this country in debt. A few hundred people here in Washington, D.C. put every person in this country $100,000 in debt. And all these foreigners come here and start companies and don't have to pay taxes for 5 years. And then their friends take over the companies or their family members. So the reason why we have broken bridges and broken roads isn't because we're not paying taxes. It's because everybody else here is coming here and making money and not paying their taxes. And then they ignore us while we suffer here in D.C., let alone the rest of the country and the world. They'll send billions for bombs to Israel, which is an evil country we created after World War II, the United States government. Not me, but people I know actually in my grown-up family. And my stepfather, his uncle Ozer, had a pickle factory that gave money and weapons to start Israel out of Ohio. And that's the uncle of David Mayer Hill from Youngstown, Ohio, who was a lawyer who so-called my stepfather my whole life, had my best interests at heart. Why was I grown up on frozen pizza, macaroni and cheese, and cereal and sugar? Coca-Cola, cable television, and public schools, and thrown to the side. Yet everyone walks by in D.C., cares nothing about people dying in the streets, and they smirk, especially the fat old white ones. So fuck you all, your time is coming, and God will let you all know. And me, my job is to be calm and beg and try and get some fucking food and some fucking medication while these crackers walk by. I hope my friends from the Pentagon visit each of your families and teach you a lesson. World fucking wide. God, who knows how long she's been sleeping out here. Nobody's fucking helping her neither. Especially all these fucking lawyers around here. And by the way, spell the word lawyer backwards. And what does it spell? Rey law. What is rey in Espanol? King. Rey wall. What is king in Espanol? Spanish. Rey. What is wall? W-A-L. What is wall spelled backwards? Law. What is king spelled backwards? Y-E-R. Lawyer. Spell lawyer backwards. It's called a king's wall. They used to put a king's wall around the royalty and protect them. Then they put moats up as they built castles. And they'll do anything to keep that wall up. Read the Bible. The most important thing is maintaining the wall. If it breaks, you rebuild it with all force and power necessary. This is called the end of power. This change that's happening globally is called the end of power. And I'm the first one to say this worldwide. This is the end of power and the birth of synergy. The end of power and the birth of synergy. And I am the birth of the end of power and the beginning of synergy, which in cultural anthropology is when a culture solves a problem, they let their solution known to other cultures and they help them solve their social problems. And that's called cultural anthropology. There's a fucking reason I got a degree with honors studying anthropology and sociology with a minor in filmmaking. And it wasn't to be a fucking dumbass and be deluded and fucked up by science, by my family, and by the people of Reston fucking Virginia. There's no more King's Wall, and you can't hide behind it anymore. And the Pentagon is coming for all of you, not me. And those who almost tried to kill me and who just walk past and smile at me, I'm gonna kick back and do what Snoop Dogg said, which is stay out of sight and be fucking chill. Y'all should listen to more gangster rap, because I've been listening to it since I was a wee fucking sprout, and I'm 51. And just walk by. 3 people have been nice to me since I've been here. One person gave me $5, one person gave me $3, and someone gave me a tiny bit of fucking food. It doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem at all, does it? And the funny thing is I can do this anywhere I want in DC except for inside certain buildings. Because the law enforcement are sick of it too. And guess what Congress forgot to do last year? You remember when some officers died defending you, Congress? They're called soldiers. And they died, and some of them killed themselves afterwards, and you were supposed to put a plaque up 1 year ago in Congress, and you never did. Why doesn't somebody who's in Congress, who served in the military, put up a plaque for these dead people who died defending you and killed themselves afterwards out of guilt? And Congress doesn't put the plaque up. I could have a plaque made. I'm a fucking homeless idiot in DC. I have friends around here. I have a friend in Fredericksburg, 1 hour to the south. I could call his company and be like, what's up, bro? Can you make a plaque for the fallen officers in Congress when those idiots were prompted by that president we had to fucking raid this fucking Capitol and fuck it up? And he'd be like, yeah, bro, I got you. He'd also be like, I love the art that you sold me years ago that's in my office and in my company that could make a plaque for these people. And I'd do it in 5 fucking seconds. But I'm not in charge. They are. So I want the Pentagon to ask their Congress people now, whose side are you on now? Because it is that time. And I will tag all these folks, and I'm not fucking worried about it. If I die, I die because someone murdered me. And that's the only reason I'm gonna die right now is because someone murders me. And the person who gave the order will be somebody I grew up around or a family member, so fuck you. And it's true. It's fucking true. Because they're the ones who really know what's going on. And now you know where I come from, and now you know who I represent, and now you know I don't give a fuck about you rich-ass lawyers and pricks who deserve to all face real justice, including your fucking judges. And they keep going, black, white, young, old, fat, gay, normal, straight, punk, rock, whatever. No one cares about sufferers in Washington, D.C. And they make the policies here, and they figure out the practices here that they instigate worldwide to fuck it up. And now we're gonna fuck you up. And when I say we, I mean me and the angels of God's armies, and fuck you. Hey, and y'all wanna know what? Peace, namaste. And if I scared you and you're a friend or a loved one really, or a person in this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare you. And you understand. But these people from all over the world who just ignore it, and they try and blame white Americans for everything, but they're all ignoring it here. All of them. So quit blaming white Americans. It's the whole fucking planet who doesn't care about poverty and suffering. And we're gonna stop that. Because guess what? We started joining the military after World War II. Worldwide. And we're organized worldwide. So fuck you nerds here, and I hope y'all die soon. By natural fucking causes of God. Ha ha! That's why I go to church, fuckers! And y'all just have to come back to what would Jesus do? And honestly, we can't do what Jesus would do because we'd be put in prison. We'd be put in prison or murdered. So that's why we can't do what Jesus would do. So we have to do it different. But we always have to ask, what would Jesus do? And maybe ask a few other spiritual bodies as well. And now we know what to do, which is fucking beg for help and be ignored by the richest fucking organizers in the world of global fucking bullshit. Oh, I forgot to mention, it's pretty and ugly people too ignore suffering. Pretty people and ugly people, along with all the other fucking assholes I just mentioned. So I was just up on U Street and this metrosexual cracker cop came up to me and was like, "What are you smoking?" And I go, this is the first time I've been addressed by a law enforcement officer in the city about what I'm smoking. I said, "Oh shit, clove cigarettes," because I'm having a bad day. And he goes, "Oh." And he took my hoodie from me and he said, if he catches me smoking weed again in the city, he'll have me hurt. I think it was a Ward 3 white or Caucasian light-skinned officer, police officer on U Street. It was at 15th and U, and I was smoking cannabis, which I've done constantly here for years, including in front of all the federal police, just not in front of the Capitol directly, the Supreme Court directly, or the White House directly. So you police officers, please find out who this metrosexual guy with the beard is, and tell me he's on fucking notice. Please. He's a pig. And it's the pigs versus God's chosen people now. Ask anyone, it's true. Like the officers, or shall we say, the soldiers on Capitol Hill who were killed by that other president's stupid joke and then later committed suicide. And guess what? Congress was supposed to put a plaque up 1 year ago in March for the fallen soldiers that died for them. And did Congress do that? Not even yet. And it's a year later. And now they just had one of their metrosexual male white cops come up to me on U Street, take my fucking hoodie, and warn me. So fuck you, pig. You're not law enforcement, you're not a soldier, you're not a police officer, you're a fucking pig. And I hope you get to watch this video personally and someone fucking takes you to the river. Fuck you. I went down in the river to pray. Down in the river to pray. Down in the river to pray. I went down in the river to pray. And if you're lucky, you get to go to the river and pray just like me. Or maybe climb up a tree, see purple flowers in the grass wintertime, just like me. It's a river to see. Ha ha. So what do you do for the first time ever in DC when a police officer tries to intimidate you about smoking cannabis in public, which happened to me today, and then he took my hoodie and my rolling papers and threatened my well-being if he caught me again? He's a white cop, Caucasian, whatever, metrosexual, with a twinkle in his eye, protecting the massage parlor and dentist office across the street from the founder of Homeland Security, Jair Lynch's house, which is on U Street between 15th and 16th. And there's a massage parlor, which is also a slave den. So you can go there and get whichever you want, and you get your prescriptions for your drugs at your recurring visits at the dental office right there. And he drove by and made sure to intimidate me and then took my shit. That's called a fucking pig.
That's called a fucking pig. That's called a fucking pig.
I love DC. Even after all that stuff today, I get a little bit of leeway. Probably because the lights are blinking down there, I guess. Oh, look, it's a beautiful sign from the other celebration. Wow, I forgot that was there. That's cool. Dr. King.